My beloved child, listen closely because what I am about to tell you tonight is not something ordinary. This message reached you for a very special reason. Out of millions of people endlessly scrolling, somehow your eyes paused right here. That was not a coincidence at all. And before this video ends, you are going to understand why someone in your life has been acting distant, confused, and silent, yet still unable to fully walk away from you. Do not skip anything. Stay until the end because something very big is waiting for you. There is a person, a very specific person, who truly loves you more deeply than you realize right now. They think about you when the world becomes quiet around them. They replay your words again and again in their mind. They search for signs from you without even admitting it to themselves. And yet there is one thing holding them back. One thing they are struggling to fully accept. It is somehow connected to your appearance. But wait, before your heart jumps to fear or your mind starts building painful stories, listen carefully to every word, because the truth is much deeper than what you think at first. This is not about perfection or beauty standards the world forces on everyone. This is not about what others told you to become over time. No, this is something much more emotional, something hidden beneath the surface of things. If you have ever felt someone pulling away because of how you look, drop a comment right now. And the surprising part is this. The very thing they struggle to accept is actually the same thing making them fall for you even harder every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Do not skip because the next moments may change the way you see yourself forever. This person notices things nobody else notices about you. While others see your smile, they notice the sadness behind it. While others hear your laughter, they sense the exhaustion under it. While others only glance at you and move on, this person studies every detail like it has meaning. And that scares them because loving you feels intense for their heart. You carry a presence that makes people emotionally exposed without trying. You make others face truths they usually avoid. And what they are struggling with is not truly physical. It is what your presence reveals about them on a deeper level. Maybe it is the tiredness in your eyes that shows your journey. Maybe it is the way you hide pain behind confidence every day. Maybe it is the quiet insecurity you think nobody sees. But they see it all. Oh yes, they notice everything, and it shakes them deeply because they were not expecting someone like you to enter their life so suddenly. They were prepared only for temporary connections, surface-level talks, simple emotions, and predictable people. Then you appeared, and suddenly nothing in their world felt simple anymore. There are nights when this person looks at your photos longer than they should. Not because they are judging you, but because they are trying to understand why your face brings emotions they cannot explain. One part of them wants to come closer to you. Another part wants to run away because your presence carries honesty, realness, and vulnerability. And that kind of truth scares people who spent years hiding behind masks. Listen carefully now because this is important. The thing they struggle with is not that you are imperfect. It is that you are real in a world that often feels fake. Do you understand how rare that is today? In a world full of filters, fake confidence, fake smiles, performances, and fake love, your presence shows something authentic. And authenticity forces people to face themselves honestly. That is why this connection feels so strong. That is why they come close and then suddenly pull away without reason. That is why their energy shifts without explanation. Comment real if you are tired of pretending to be perfect just to be loved. Because every time they look at you, they feel something they cannot control. And what happens next will surprise you completely. Very soon, this person will stop resisting these feelings. The emotional walls they built are already starting to break slowly and quietly. But before that moment comes, something unexpected will happen between you two. A small conversation, a glance, a silence, a simple moment that seems unimportant outside, but changes everything inside. And when it happens, you will finally understand why they behaved this way all along. Deep down, they were afraid. afraid that loving you would expose their insecurities, afraid that your honesty would reveal their old emotional wounds, afraid that someone as real as you could see through them completely. Do not skip now. You are getting closer to the truth. This person remembers small details about your appearance that even you forgot. The way your face changes when you try not to cry, the way your eyes look away when you feel hurt, the way your expression softens when someone finally understands you. These things replay in their mind constantly, and they hate how powerless it makes them feel because they wanted control over their emotions. But love does not ask for permission before entering a heart. It arrives suddenly, quietly, and intensely. Now they are stuck between resisting you and fully accepting you. But here is the truth no one expected. What they struggle to accept about your appearance is connected to something in their past. You remind them of emotions they buried long ago. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your presence wakes feelings they thought were gone forever. That is why they sometimes go silent. That is why they stare without speaking. That is why they seem overwhelmed around you. It is not rejection. It is emotional fear mixed with deep attraction. And once they accept this truth, everything inside them begins to change. Their silence will change. Their energy will change. Their actions will change. Because deep down, they already know they cannot replace you. No one else carries your energy. No one else makes them feel seen the way you do. No one else reaches their heart like this. Even now, while they struggle, their heart is quietly choosing you. There is a reason you are hearing this tonight. You have spent too long questioning your worth because of appearance-based insecurities. Too long believing love only belongs to those who look perfect. But real love does not begin with perfection. It begins with recognition of something true. And this person recognizes something rare in you, something unforgettable, something they cannot ignore. That is why they keep coming back emotionally, even when they try to stay away physically. Your presence stays with them even in silence, even in distance, even in denial. And tonight, whether you realize it or not, something has already started to shift. Their resistance is weakening. Their emotions are growing stronger. And very soon, they will face a choice. Continue hiding or finally accept that they love you deeply. Not despite what they struggle with in your appearance, but in many ways because of it. And when that realization fully reaches them, they will no longer be able to look away from you. There is something they have never said out loud, something they hide every time they look at you too long. Now you are finally beginning to understand why. They appear normal around others, calm, controlled, unaffected. But when it comes to you, their emotions become unsteady. Their thoughts grow loud. Their heart becomes restless. And it all starts with one detail about your appearance they cannot stop thinking about. Not because it pushes them away, but because it pulls them in too deeply. Type yes if you want to know why they cannot stop thinking about you. Every time they see you, something inside them changes. They notice things no one else notices. The softness in your expression when you pretend to be okay. The hidden loneliness behind your confidence. The emotions your appearance reveals without words. And it scares them because this is not ordinary attraction. This is emotional recognition at a deep level. There are moments when they try to convince themselves to move on. They distract themselves, stay busy, talk to others, avoid silence. But everything still leads back to you. Why? Because your presence carries something they cannot replace. Something real. You feel real to them. And real love is rare. What scares people most is not distance or rejection, but meeting someone who reaches their soul. That is what happened when they met you. Your presence touched parts of them they thought no one would ever understand. And now they cannot escape it, no matter how hard they try. Something important is coming. They remember the first time they truly noticed you. Maybe it seemed ordinary to you, but for them, everything changed in that moment. They saw something in your appearance that felt familiar to their heart. A sadness, a softness, a quiet strength. And in that moment, their heart became attached to you. That is why they look at you differently. That is why their energy shifts without explanation. Because your presence awakens emotions they buried long ago. Listen carefully. What they struggle to accept is tied to how deeply they already care. If they did not care, none of this would affect them so strongly. But it does, every day. Sometimes they pull away because your presence feels emotionally overwhelming. Not ordinary beauty, but emotional beauty. The kind that stays in the mind at night. The kind that returns in silence. The kind that changes a person forever. Very soon, they will reveal emotions they have hidden for a long time. Not directly at first. It may come through a small action, a message, a glance, or a moment of honesty they did not plan. But when it happens, you will finally understand something truly unexpected. They were never judging your appearance at all. They were actually fighting their own emotions inside. They were trying to protect themselves from becoming emotionally vulnerable, because deep down, they already know you are different from everyone else they have ever met. And once someone truly realizes that, there is no easy way to go back to how they used to feel before. This person secretly worries that you do not fully understand your own worth yet, and that thought stays in their mind more often than you think. They notice how hard you can be on yourself most of the time. They notice the insecurities you try to hide behind your smiles and calm expressions. They notice the moments when you avoid attention because you fear being misunderstood or judged unfairly. And every single time they see that side of you, their feelings only grow stronger, not weaker. Because your imperfections do not push them away. Instead, your imperfections make you feel more real to them, more human. And that humanity is exactly what makes you unforgettable in their eyes. Do not skip this part, because the most important truth is still coming. Late at night, when everything around them becomes silent and the world feels still, this person keeps thinking about one question over and over again. What if I lose them? That single thought stays in their mind longer than they would ever admit out loud. It follows them in quiet moments and fills the silence with emotion they cannot easily explain. That question haunts them more than they ever show, because despite their confusion, despite their fear, and despite all their emotional resistance, their heart has already chosen you very clearly. Even if they try to deny it or hide it, deep inside they already know the truth. That is why your presence affects them so strongly. Not because anything about you is wrong, but because everything about you feels emotionally honest in a way they cannot ignore or replace. You remind them that love is not about looking perfect or acting flawless on the outside. It is about feeling understood without needing to explain everything. And somehow, you make them feel understood in ways nobody else ever has before. That kind of emotional connection is rare for them, and it leaves a deep impact that stays with them no matter how much time passes. If you share this with someone who doubts their worth because of their appearance, it may speak to something they never expressed before. Something significant is building quietly in this situation, because the distance between you is not permanent at all. The silence you feel is not permanent either. Even the confusion that exists right now is not meant to stay forever. A turning point is slowly approaching, whether they are ready for it or not. And when that moment finally arrives, this person will stop pretending they are unaffected by you. They will stop hiding behind emotional walls they built for protection. They will stop running from the connection that keeps pulling them back toward you again and again. Because some people enter your life for a short season, but others enter your emotional world and stay there in a deeper way that cannot be easily erased. And whether they admit it now or later, you have already become unforgettable to them. That is the truth they can no longer fully escape. You were never supposed to understand this so early, but the signs have become too strong to ignore. There is someone watching your silence more carefully than your words. Someone who appears emotionally distant on the outside, while secretly becoming more attached to you with every passing day. And tonight, the hidden reason behind their behavior is slowly becoming clearer. Do not skip this message because something meaningful is unfolding here. Stay until the end because a deeper realization is forming. This person has tried many times to control their feelings. They told themselves it was only temporary. They convinced themselves that they were imagining the connection. They tried to rely on logic instead of emotion, hoping it would protect them from confusion. But every time they see you, all of those defenses fall apart again. Because there is something about your presence they cannot emotionally escape. Not because it overwhelms them in a negative way, but because it reaches them too deeply to ignore. And the truth they are slowly realizing is this: they are afraid that if they fully accept how strongly you affect them, they might never be able to let go again. Yes, that is the secret they keep hidden inside. Pay attention closely now. Every time you enter a room, this person immediately notices a shift in energy. It is not something they consciously decide to feel, it happens automatically. Their eyes naturally look for you without effort. Their emotions react before their thoughts can even catch up. And what affects them the most is the awareness that you probably have no idea about any of this. You believe they are calm or indifferent, but inside there is emotional chaos they are trying to control. Do not skip this, because the next realization changes everything in a deeper way. The part of your appearance they struggle to process is not about looks in a shallow sense. It is connected to vulnerability. Maybe it is the softness in your eyes that reveals more than you say. Maybe it is the tired expression you carry when life feels heavy. Maybe it is the quiet sadness you sometimes hide behind your smile when you try to appear okay. Whatever it is, it makes them feel protective toward you in a way they did not expect. And that feeling scares them, because once someone starts caring deeply, they also become afraid of getting hurt deeply. That is why this person sometimes becomes distant without warning. It is not because their feelings disappeared. It is because their feelings became too real, too strong, and too difficult to control. There are nights when they replay moments with you again and again in their mind, not the big dramatic moments, but the small ones that seemed unimportant at the time. The way you looked away while thinking, the way your expression changed for a second before you hid your emotions again. The way your face revealed feelings your words never spoke out loud. Those small moments stayed with them more than anything else. And no matter how hard they try, they cannot forget them, because your presence communicates emotional truths that words never fully express. And they understand those truths very clearly, even if you never said them directly. That is why they are struggling so much inside. They were never prepared to meet someone who feels this genuine and emotionally real. The world taught them to expect temporary attention, temporary interest, and temporary emotions. But then you arrived, carrying something honest and steady in your presence, and now their heart no longer knows how to protect itself the same way it used to. Do not skip this part. You are getting closer to the deeper truth now. This person compares others to you without even realizing it. They try to talk to new people, they try to distract themselves, they try to move on with normal conversations, but something always feels incomplete. Because nobody else carries the same emotional presence that you do. Nobody else makes silence feel meaningful in the same way. Nobody else leaves such a strong emotional impression just by existing naturally. And deep down, they already recognize this truth, even if they try to avoid admitting it. That realization becomes harder for them to ignore with each passing day. And here is the deeper emotional truth they struggle to accept. The very thing they notice about your appearance, the parts they see as imperfections or vulnerability, is actually what makes them trust you more deeply. Your natural emotions make you feel safe to them. Your honesty makes you feel real. Your imperfect humanity makes you unforgettable in a world where many people pretend to be something they are not. That is why they keep coming back emotionally, even when they try to step away physically or mentally. because something inside them feels calm around your presence, even when their mind tries to resist it. There is a sense of emotional safety they cannot easily find anywhere else. Comment vulnerable if this message touched something deep inside you about love, emotions, and how people see you. Because this person is reaching a point where they can no longer hide everything they feel, the signs are already showing. Their behavior is slowly changing. Their attention toward you is becoming stronger and more consistent. Their emotional walls are beginning to weaken, even if they try to hold them up. And when the truth finally comes out, many confusing moments will suddenly make sense. You will understand why they looked at you longer than normal, why they sometimes became quiet without explanation, why their energy felt different when you were around, why they kept returning emotionally even after distance was created. It was never random. It was always something deeper than surface-level attraction. This was a real emotional connection they could not fully explain or control. And now they are reaching the point where hiding it feels more painful than expressing it. Do not skip, because something significant is building toward clarity. This story is not ending in confusion or distance. It is slowly moving toward understanding and emotional truth. A moment is approaching where this person will no longer fight what their heart already knows. That you became important to them in a way no one else ever has. And once someone reaches that level of emotional attachment, nothing inside them remains the same afterward. Everything shifts in a quiet but permanent way. Because some people enter your life softly, but leave a lasting mark on your soul that does not fade easily. And whether they admit it today, tomorrow, or much later, there is one truth they cannot escape anymore. Loving you changed them completely.